the prisoner noticed something strange. He discovered that every time the old-timer ate his noodles, he would secretly drop some on the floor. Curious, the prisoner looked down and realized the old man was actually feeding a mouse. This elderly man was sentenced to life in prison, and he's planning to break out using rats. Seeing this, John came up with a clever plan. While the guards were watching other inmates, he rubbed his spoon hard against his shoe sole several times. Then he told the guard that the spoon was dirty and he couldn't eat with it. However, John didn't just take one spoon, he took two. He secretly hid one inside his clothes. That night, John started a fire using matches and magnesium powder. He welded the spoon and file together to create a sharp tool. Once his makeshift weapon was ready, he began drilling into the wall. Just then, a guard started walking toward his cell, but John was completely unaware. At the crucial moment, his friend made noise to warn him. John quickly hid the dirt he'd dug out behind his suitcase. In his panic, he left the tool right there. Then he lay down on his bed, acting completely relaxed. Fortunately, the guard didn't spot the tool or anything else suspicious on the floor. The next day, while John was digging, he discovered thick wire mesh behind the wall. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't break through it. So now, he needed a stronger tool. The following day, while working in the shop, John found a piece of metal wrapped in another metal sheet. He hid a metal piece on himself, but that day, all prisoners had to go through inspection. When John passed through the metal detector, the machine went off. The staff immediately detained him. John handed over the metal piece to the staff without hiding anything, but the workers became suspicious and gave him a thorough body search. They found nothing because he had hidden the real metal piece in his shoe. Using this piece, he successfully cut through the wire mesh. Now, the escape route was ready. John soaked newspapers and clothes in water to create a dummy that looked exactly like him. He painted the mannequin with skin-colored paint and glued hair he'd pulled out onto the dummy's head to make it look like a real person. After that, he placed the dummy in his bed and tried to escape through the tunnel. However, the real trouble was just beginning. When prison staff came to check on the inmates, John's friend kept yelling, but John was busy climbing onto the prison roof. The guard looked inside, thinking the prisoner was sleeping. Suddenly, his baton accidentally dropped to the floor with a loud crash. The prisoner didn't move despite such a loud noise. This made the guard suspicious and he tried to reach in to check, but by then John had already returned to bed. On the third day, the guard became more vigilant and thoroughly searched John's cell, but John had already anticipated this situation and covered the tunnel walls in advance. At lunch, John told his friends, "We're breaking out tonight." When darkness fell, the three prisoners climbed up the prison chimney to reach the roof. They moved carefully, avoiding all the searchlights. Now, they had escaped from the prison. Then they jumped over the high fence installed outside the prison. They quickly inflated life vests they had prepared in advance. Finally, they escaped by water. When the guard came to check the cell and tried to wake John, there was no response. So he angrily opened the door and went in. When he grabbed and pulled what he thought was John, the dummy fell apart, leaving him stunned. He immediately sounded the alarm. Soon, the entire prison perimeter was searched, but no clues were found. So, friends, have you ever been to prison?